Recently, Michelle Obama has openly admitted that she and Barack sleep in separate bedrooms. Here's how it works. She sleeps downstairs, and he likes men. Chinning. The weather. Let's do a monologue. Rumors continue to escalate for the Obamas. Hopefully they can settle it like men.
And my goodness, you want to talk about the most overrated political hype of a generation? It would go to Michelle Obama. Anyway, that's just a side note that's been on my mind for a while.
I'm happy to make fun of her look. It's very strange. It was Benny Johnson who dubbed that one hairstyle the Stegosaurus.
I'm not getting into that.
She three bumps on the back, Stegosaurus. It's very...
Michelle Obama believed she could ride off into the sunset with Netflix. Just as she was about to smoothies and motivational sayings, Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly stormed into a book group like a cyclone of truth seekers. Megyn is gathering up receipts like it's spring cleaning at the White House, while Gutfeld is hurling sarcasm sharper than Michelle's arms. And all of a sudden, the Queen of Cool is perspiring in the spotlight. Oh, it's far messier than kale chips. What did they find that has Michelle's PR team on high alert?
Michelle thinks American men suck.
Let me warn you, your rage does not exist in a vacuum. If we don't get this election right, your wife, your daughter, your mother, we as women will become collateral damage to your rage. To the women listening, we have every right to demand that the men in our lives do better by us. We have to use our voices to make these choices clear to the men that we love. Our lives are worth more than their anger and disappointment.
What's that pitter-patter sound I'm hearing in the background? It's the footsteps of Barack running to vote for Trump.
Michelle Obama enters the political spotlight with her arms flapping, in an uplifting gesture akin to a high-fashion runway. Gay gestures that are in iconic mode, and the media flings roses as though she produced gluten-free brownies, rewrote the Constitution, and fixed inflation in one afternoon. America seems to be lifted every time Michelle breathes, for some reason. Just your typical former First Lady who became an unofficial empress of moral superiority. No pressure, okay? Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly are now gently roasting him like a marshmallow that has been posing as a burning torch.
So, Kat, they know that they're having a hard time with men.
Right.
Doesn't seem like this is the right strategy.
No.
She basically says that they're hurting women by voting for Trump.
But I think they don't understand that where it comes from in the first place is that people are sick of being told how bad they are and talked down to. And
Michelle Obama's political presence is, let's face it, like tofu at a barbecue. It doesn't belong there, yet it somehow appears in moral lectures and demands to be the main meal. For over 10 years, this woman has repositioned herself as the unofficial national therapist, giving out brief sayings about optimism and faith as if she were operating a self-help booth in a failing shopping center.
Republican women are too dumb to make up their own minds about President Trump. They did it because they're men. Told them to after that ridiculous, remember that ad the Democrats ran with Julia Roberts voiceover? Where the women
I remember.
like
it's our little secret. Yep,
yeah, this is what they think of. This is what they think of Republican women.
Or Megyn Kelly, however, is fed up with Michelle's most recent non-political political tour. Due to there is nothing that shouts not running for office like constant media appearances. The Light We Carry, a best-selling memoir available on Netflix, sounds like an abandoned Coldplay record with a band that could overrun a small nation. Michelle maintains that she is just a modest American sitting in her estate in Martha's Vineyard, speaking into the wind about togetherness while using a TikTok coupon code to cash in on more business deals than a Kardashian.
Obama, listen to this.
And at this phase of my life, I'm in therapy right now because I'm transitioning. You know, I'm 60 years old. I've finished a really hard thing in my life with my family intact. I'm an empty nester. My girls are in, they've been launched. And now for the first time, as I've said before, every choice that I'm making is completely mine. I now don't have the excuse of, well, my kids need this or my husband needs that or the country needs that. So how do I think about this next phase?
Once again, speaking a reference to her time as First Lady negatively, and I'm transitioning. I mean, an interesting choice of words, given how the internet refers to
Gutfeld. Greg. In a world full with political Tinkerbells, the sardonic gremlin couldn't help but point out the ridiculousness of Michelle's god-tier foot. Since Michelle Obama is regarded as though she floats, let's face it, MSNBC would call it brave if she spilled coffee on a pet. However, it becomes immediately offensive when someone dares to disparage her multi-million-dollar motivational touring show. It would be like to disparaging Beyoncé during a solar eclipse. It seems that you are punished by nature itself.
Is it, Michelle? It's not. I've been married for 17 and a half years, and not one was bad. I think she and he married the wrong people.
I think you're 100% right. This is only her third episode. I can't think of anybody I would go to for advice less than Michelle Obama. She really doesn't know what she's talking about. First of all, she loves to tell us she hated Barack for a good decade.
Yes.
Okay, please teach me how to have a successful relationship with someone that you clearly respect and admire. Every time she's on the air, it's like, I'm dragging this ball of dead weight behind me. His name, Barack Obama.
Megyn Kelly didn't come to play. She didn't show up with pleasantries, and she definitely didn't bring an Oprah book. Club sticker. No, she arrived armed with commentary, cold facts, and enough pointed critique to short-circuit Michelle Obama's "I'm above politics, but here's why your vote matters" tour. Kelly called out the glaring contradiction. Michelle says she doesn't want to run for office, yet she enjoys all the benefits of power without any of the scrutiny. No debates, no tough questions, just admiration, media worship, and polished. Speeches about hope and hardship delivered from multi-million-dollar stages. It's not public service, it's prestige without responsibility. Michelle's operating like an elite-tier influencer with a former First Lady discount code for credibility. She's the face of a brand that never has to take real accountability. And when Barack Obama's legacy takes a hit, Michelle is wheeled out to soften the blow, to wax poetic about empathy and struggle, while vacationing with Oprah in designer caftans. She's become the emotional firewall for Democratic nostalgia, part life coach, part human shield. Imagine Clippy from Microsoft Word, but instead of helping you write a letter, she asks, "It looks like you're being criticized? Want a TED Talk instead?"
They blame gender for her surrender. This week, Michelle Obama scolded female Trump supporters in front of an audience at a business conference in Boston, a city in Massachusetts. She said the former First Lady, quote, "Any woman who voted against Hillary Clinton voted against their own voice. What does it mean for us as women that we look at those two candidates and many of us said, that guy, he's better for me. His voice is more true to me." Well, to me, that just says you don't like your voice. You like the thing you're told to like. I don't get this. No one likes their own voice. Have you ever listened to your own voicemail? It is horrible.
Greg Gutfeld, the reigning king of sarcasm and eye rolls, didn't hold back when it came to Michelle Obama's "I'm not political, but here's my political tour" routine. According to Gutfeld, Michelle is that coworker who claims to hate office drama, but somehow ends up orchestrating a trust fall that ends in tears and HR reports. She insists politics isn't her thing, yet miraculously appears every election season like a motivational jack-in-the-box, complete with applause, dramatic lighting, and a standing ovation from every major news outlet. Each reappearance is treated like the second coming by the media. Forget objectivity. Michelle breathes and headlines read like she's defeated tyranny with nothing but a cardigan and a catchphrase. And let's not overlook her Netflix documentary, a highly produced pilgrimage through packed stadiums where Michelle isn't selling books. She's delivering sermons from a literal spotlight, flanked by a glam squad and glowing with divine narrative control. She claims politics is too mean, too messy for her refined palate. This from the wife of a president who oversaw drone strikes and record deportations. But Michelle, she's just here for hope, light, and conversations. Preferably underwritten by Amazon and hosted by Oprah or Ellen. Even her outfits aren't safe from the spin cycle. Michelle wears yellow? Vogue pens a 4,000-word thesis on sunflowers, optimism, and racial healing. She wears boots? Suddenly, those boots are speaking truth to power. Gutfeld quipped that she could show up in a hazmat suit and the New York. Times would gush, "Michelle Obama neutralizes contagion gracefully."
me down. I'm trying to elevate myself with like these things on my head.
It looks like Mickey Mouse.
It's so
like
weird.
The two ears up there, these two big balls on the left and the right of her head.
Like, what kind of midlife crisis is she in the throes of right now?
No,
she's constantly.
You see the other one where she had the three balls on the back of her head, and I think it was Benny Johnson was calling it her Stegosaurus cut. That's what it looks like the back of a
hilarious.
Megyn Kelly wasn't dazzled by the Michelle Obama glow up either. She cut through the soft lighting and curated speeches to point out the obvious. Michelle loves the influence that comes with political capital, just not the accountability. She's mastered the art of having her cake, eating it, and acting offended when anyone points out the crumbs. Michelle wants the spotlight, the applause, the power to shape public opinion, just none of the uncomfortable questions that come with it. Kelly also called out Michelle's latest rebrand. The weary saint weighed down by the injustice of being admired too harshly. She spoke about the pain of being labeled angry, while calmly throwing half the country under the bus in monologues. So gently condescending they could be prescribed as sleep aids. It's passive-aggressive nobility in a cashmere sweater, and let's not forget her selective love for America's heartland. Once dismissive of flyover states, she now launches voter campaigns aimed squarely at them, just in time for election season. The rest of the time, she's off whispering poetic thoughts about democracy from the deck of a yacht. Gutfeld summed it up. Michelle could bash capitalism at a fundraiser, leave with $300,000 and an ethically sourced diamond. Kelly added, "There's probably a Michelle Obama candle that smells like vague moral superiority."
You know, the condescension doesn't work. None of what they're doing really works. I mean, the Walls AOC live stream of them playing Madden together was supposed to be to get like dudes who like football on their side, and they did it during football. Like, who's consulting them on this stuff?
Yeah, it's a
woman probably also.
It's a gay man.
The truth is, Michelle Obama has hacked the political Hunger Games with a cheat code. She delivers highly charged political messages, all while sidestepping the inconvenience of follow-up questions. She laments the emotional toll of being rich, beloved, and married to a two-term president, and somehow millions applaud like she's a modern-day Joan of Arc, not a highly packaged media phenomenon backed by Spotify playlists and a Netflix production team. Criticizing Michelle, of course, is considered taboo. Some call it punching down, as if calling out a woman with a personal chef, global speaking tours, and a lifestyle empire is bullying the underdog. Meanwhile, anyone who points out the contradictions in her carefully curated persona is smeared as a fringe lunatic who hates hope and probably microwaves plastic. Let's break down the Michelle Obama motivational cycle. Step 1, announce. You're disillusioned with politics. Step 2, drop an inspirational memoir. Step 3, appear on every platform short of Animal Planet. Step 4, issue soft-spoken warnings that democracy is in peril, using metaphors about children, kitchen tables, and light. Step 5, collect a 7-figure check while asking average folks to chip in $10 to save the republic. Greg, Gutfeld couldn't help but laugh. The woman who claims to be weary of the spotlight just launched her 3rd national tour, with pyrotechnics and warm-up acts. Michelle's humility has more PR strategy than a Marvel film.
So she's constantly like hitting that wound of like, are we divorcing? Don't be gossiping about us. You know, I'm just trying to be an independent woman over here. I hate my husband, but I love my husband. But you know, when she's not doing that, so her brother is her podcast co-host. She's constantly berating him. Like every episode, you didn't tell me you were having marital problems. Like he has to explain to her a million freaking times, hey, I was trying to work out my marriage. And if it did work out and I told you what the problems were, you would hold a grudge against my wife for the rest of your days.
Which is real. We all know
We all know. Nobody holds a grudge like Michelle Obama.
It's amazing. Every word she says about Barack Obama is...
Megyn Kelly had a field day dismantling Michelle Obama's "I'm just like you" act, comparing it to a real housewife claiming she shops at Target. It's a level of disconnect so vast, you'd need Elon Musk's rocket to make contact. Michelle delivers self-help platitudes from balconies in Tuscany, and we're supposed to believe she's relatable? Please. And then there's the left's favorite pipe dream, President Michelle. It's the Democratic Party's fantasy ticket. A candidate with Obama-level branding, zero debate experience, and built-in immunity from tough media coverage. It's not a candidacy, it's a hologram. But hey, if The Rock can run, why not St. Michelle of the Gourmet Garden? Greg Gutfeld put it best. Michelle's version of bipartisanship is hugging a puppy in front of a burning flag, then blaming the fire on misinformation. She talks unity with the finesse of someone offering a warm embrace while picking your pocket. Her genius lies in pretending to float above the fray, like a drone filming chaos while gently playing the piano. Kelly couldn't ignore the contradiction. You don't get to claim moral high ground while taking poetic jabs at ideological opponents. Michelle has mastered the art of passive-aggressive politics, weaponized grace cloaked in soft lighting and strategic silence.
Where, like, Michelle Obama is kind of full of it. And you know this is true. When Biden announced he was resigning via fax, nothing weird about it, okay? Obama tweeted that they were looking forward to an open primary where they'd pick a nominee. And I know that to be relevant to this story because you could see that Michelle Obama isn't trying. Like, she accused Trump in that same speech of avoiding interviews. Yeah. On the same night he did a 3-hour interview. That's like accusing Chris Christie of avoiding pizza. You know what I mean?
So, what exactly did Greg Gutfeld and Megyn Kelly expose? That Michelle Obama isn't just a former first lady, she's a master illusionist. The political magician who pulls inspiration out of a hat, while your civil liberties quietly disappear behind the velvet curtain. Every teary-eyed interview, every perfectly lit speech, every book tour disguised as a national healing session. It's all part of the same performance. It feels like leadership, but really, it's brand activation at its most polished. Michelle has elevated the Oprah-fication of politics to such a surreal level, it wouldn't be shocking if she launched a line of resilience water, now with electrolytes and a QR code to register to vote. Because nothing says I'm above politics, like monetized inspiration with a side of strategic messaging. Gutfeld and Kelly didn't land some earth-shattering revelation. They just did what no one else seemed willing to do. Pull back the curtain, and there she was, the Empress of Empowerment, clad in designer robes, freshly dry-cleaned in political detergent. Just when you think she's taking a breather from her cross-country campaign of enlightenment, she pops up again, on a podcast, wrapped in vulnerability, offering sage advice like, we need to meet people where they are. Sure, except most people are juggling bills and burnout, not sipping tea in a Nantucket nook reflecting on the burden of being beloved.
I mean, because when you're thinking of victims of this awful world, you think of Michelle Obama and how terrible we've all been to her. This woman is a one-woman destitution derby. Every time we check in on her at her podcast, she is feeling sorry for herself. She is criticizing Barack Obama or this country. She never has a positive word to say about anything.
What made Gutfeld and Kelly's takedown so effective is that it didn't rely on low blows. The contradictions spoke for themselves. Michelle Obama is America's most celebrated non-candidate, yet she campaigns with more vigor than most people actually on the ballot. Her message, do better, her lifestyle, but make it luxury. And whenever anyone points out the glaring disconnect, the Obama PR machine blasts a foghorn-marked racism, drowning out legitimate criticism with emotional buzzwords and slow-motion montages. The issue isn't that Michelle is powerful, it's that she insists she isn't, all while exercising more influence than half of Congress combined. That's not empowerment, it's illusion. And thanks to Kelly and Gutfeld, that illusion is finally starting to crack. So the next time Michelle tells us she's just here to help, remember, help now comes with a multi-million-dollar book deal, a coordinated media blitz, and probably a Target collab. Because in 2025, public service doesn't require declaring your candidacy. You just have to smile, speak in metaphors about light, and quietly run the culture without ever having to answer a single tough question.